This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Philippines, good evening. Dahil maggarabi, masanto siya sa labid si kayo amin, maya pa bengi keka, marahin na banggi sa indigo boss, maupay nga gabi, ha iyo nga tanan dida. Buenas noches, kaif halik, kaif halhal, alhamdulillah, bismillah, rahmanirrahim, assalamualaikum, wakmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ako po si Eric Espina, mayong gabi sa Tibok Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, ug atong guest tonight will be a member of the Philippine Computer Society dahil po napapanahon na, malapit na po ang filing ng ating Certificate of Candidacy itong darating na October. Hanggang ngayon, nakahain pa rin sa ating hapagkainan. Ano ba nangyari dito sa Smartmatic? Ano na ba ang mga naging ebidensya o walang kakulangan ng ebidensya? Lalo't andyan, nakabinbin pa rin ang bilangan nila Bongbong Marcos at of course VP Leni Robredo. So where are we all going? Demokrasya daw tayong tinuturingan. Totoo ba? O ang naghuhusga na lang sa ating palakad ngayong mga araw ay makina na lang at pera. Kaya we're very fortunate to have none other than a computer expert, Toti Casino. Good evening, Toti.
Mayang gabi sa inyong tanan at good evening to everybody.
Our topic for today is update on electoral fraud. We're still on the same page, no?
Yes.
Walang pinagbago?
Wala. The same fault that they had in 2010 is the same mistakes they're doing even today at 2016, and they're going to do that the same 2019. Okay. For example, let's start off with the non-compliance with Republic Act 9369 in the use of the digital signature. Kasi what they're referring to as the I button, all right, is nothing to do with digital signing.
Okay.
All it does is just a switch. Okay. If you were to challenge Smartmatic to open the box and show us where that switch, that I button connected to, it's not connected in any other thing except to a switch that would power it up, just like a car engine that you switch on. And they claim it is a digital signature because under the law, going back to the Omnibus Election Code, or Batas Pambansa 881, the signing of the election returns is a manifest stating to the public that we, as the Board of Election Inspectors, together with the chairman, as we read your votes in front of everybody and we counted it in the taras, is to certify it's true and accurate. It is not just a symbolic act. It is a direct manifestation, a witness to the public that we have to sign it.
Yes.
This election return is the result. So ergo, when you go to automation, you need that same function present in the automated environment.
Yes.
Now, under Republic Act 8792, which is the e-commerce law, there clearly defines the digital signature, how it should be done. Now, the digital signature goes through a process, what we call encryption and decryption.
Okay.
There is a private key and a public key, which has to pass through a public key infrastructure, a server.
When you talk about a key, it's an actual key? Or it's a coding?
It's a coding.
It's a coding.
All right. That manifests that the person holding that code
is really him.
Is one person.
Okay, yeah.
All right. And then when he enters that code, and then when you transmit the data carrying that digital signature, it will go into an encryption.
Okay.
So that when it transfers into cyberspace, there's no way you can open it until it hits the targeted destination, which in this case is the Board of Canvassers.
Okay.
And the Board of Canvassers has a public key to turn it on and then receives the results. Now, what we have since 2010, they had this memorandum circular telling the BI not to use the digital signature.
Why?
That was even the issue.
Why?
Because primarily, the reason of then Chairman Jose Melo was it's too expensive. It's going to cost the country another billion.
Okay.
But whether you're costing 1 billion, and then eventually, 2-3 years after, they purchase the Picos machine by another 3 billion. So what reason are they talking about that's going to cost the country? And the reason the other bidders they did not win the prize, because they followed the law and incorporated that digital signature in the configuration.
Okay.
Unlike Smartmatic, which bid it out as a rental. Definitely their prices will come down.
Oh, of course.
All right? And they did not include the price of that digital. And now, you have this lawyer by the name of attorney Vincent Lasatin saying in the Supreme Court, when there's a petition against the option to purchase, that the I button is a digital signature. That's perjury.
Oh, you know, it sounds, you're actually correct, ah. Tama-tama sinabi ni Toti Casino, I button, it's actually an ignition button.
Exactly.
It's not a
It's
signature.
not a signature.
Tama-tama yung I kasi it's an ignition button.
It's an ignition button, exactly. And to this day, in the recent Joint Congressional Oversight Committee, they were talking about the budget for the I button. They're going to issue it by 2 people. And who is the provider of that? The provider of that is Smartmatic. Again. Now, under the law, during the time of President Gloria Arroyo, she executed Executive Order 801, if I recall right, sometime in 2009, to implement that digital signature, which was later on during the time of then President Aquino, under DTI, Department of Administrative Order 10-001 and 11-010, to implement that law. To design it. Now, right now, under Republic Act 10844, the creation of the Department of ICT, the Department of ICT is now the authority, the authorized issuer of the digital signature. So why get a digital signature from Smartmatic when by law, it is already the Department of ICT?
Did they answer that?
No. That has not been brought up to the question.
You are now the one bringing this up.
We're going to be bringing it up, and it's already being petitioned. It's going to be petitioned sooner because there is an unconstitutionality in the use of the I button. There is perjury in the account of Attorney Lasatin, and probably we will bring this up with some civil society groups to file a case in the Supreme Court and to question the constitutionality on this I button. Now, let me go further.
Oh, yes.
With the issue that has been exposed by then Majority Senate Leader, now Senate President Tito Soto, about the Q server.
Yes.
And then it was explained thoroughly by Attorney Glenn Chong.
Yes.
If the presence of digital signature was there, no data manipulation can interfere.
That's how important this is. That's how
crucial
it is.
Yes. That is why the reason they're saying that the Q server receives all the data from the VCMs or the PICOs into one server, into one Q server that will redistribute that to the corresponding board of canvassing, whether it's a municipality, etc. Now, if there is a digital signature, no one in the Q server can open that data.
Okay.
Obviously, because the public key, the counterpart of the private key, is in the hands of the board of canvasser, not in the Q server. What it will just receive is a packet of data, wherein that data will just bring it to the targeted destination, and that's it, if that was the purpose of that Q server. But obviously, it has other purposes, which is not made clear to the public. And for us,
in your own assessment, what do you think is the real purpose of the server?
Anything. If you have your own criminal mind, you can do tampering there, right there and then. It's a way to change the results. It's one way to say, for the least of what happened there was this. Going back to 2010, without the Q server at that time, remember the public statement that in the Joint National Board of Canvassing, Senate President Enrile announced to the board, how come in my canvassing and consolidation system, the CCS laptop, I received the figure 253 million registered voters. Remember that?
Yes.
And it says, what is this? Is this a glitch?
Yeah.
Is this a code? But the word says, and then in one question and answer, according to then President of Smartmatic, Cesar Flores, it was an error in application. They admitted there was an error. Now, to us, that figure results to tampering. Why would you have a result 5 times the size of the number
Yes,
of
yes,
registered
yes, yes,
voters.
yes.
And to top it all, our organization, when we were monitoring the transmission at that period in time, there was a lull between 11:30 or 11 p.m. until 3 a.m. And the lead of then Aquino was narrowed down from 1.3 or 1.5 million to 1 million. And the one chasing it was presidential candidate Estrada.
Okay.
And then the next thing you found out, by 3 a.m., here comes Chairman Melo announcing, oh, we've got the results. And the winner is President Aquino with 5 million. Now, 5 million, 253 million times 5.
Yes.
They can have changed the results 5 times without the Q server. Now, they have a Q server in 2013, which they admitted only in this recent hearing, and now they did it again in 2016, just to make sure that when they do the tampering, it's clean. That's a property of now. To attest to what I'm saying, they should subject that Q server for a digital forensics.
Okay.
By certified.
Why don't they do that?
Because it has to be submitted to the cybersecurity group of the PNP and the NBI, which the group called Tanggulan Demokrasya has already filed a case
How
against.
about the department, the ICT? Can they do it? No.
No. Under the law of the Republic Act 10175 or the Cybercrime Prevention Law,
It has got to be.
It has to be course to the proper.
But can't they
agency.
help? Can't they, come up with their own ideas and
The DICT?
Yes.
The DICT is not really a regulatory body.
Yes, but to come up with some
Of course,
formulation.
of course, they can. Of course,
And then
they
you
will.
with the computer society, and then
Of course, by all means, yeah, we can collaborate.
because
definitely.
that's at the presidential level.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
But they're not doing it.
No, they did that.
Oh.
They said that during 2013 and 2016 election, no less than then the head of the ASTI, they said they offered
But
to Comelec that we already have the digital signature, but they ignored it. I would like to attest that right now, the head of that is now Undersecretary Dennis Bilorente of the DICT, can attest to that and said, yes, we did have that present already available, even as early as 2013, which they did not do. And again, in 2016. And the funny thing...
Can't the incumbent president say, hey, you guys, you better listen to this, to my department? Why can't... I mean, if you're really interested, I mean, the voice of the president is very crucial also.
Exactly. No, here's the point. The president has to be impartial. Because
Okay.
when you tackle with the election, that tends to serve the interests of
Okay.
the incumbent.
In terms
which,
of the...
which maintain his objectivity to the
Okay,
issue.
we're going to pause for a few reminders. I'll get back to that question of mine. The president is just simply going to pursue the proposals of the ICT, and of course, in sync with the Philippine Computer Society when we return.